Hello and welcome to this look at the August weather prospects. July was quite an unsettled month and it turned out to be the first cooler than average one measured by Central England temperature this year. It finished at 15.7 Celsius, which is 0.3 Celsius below the 30-year average. Despite that, it really ended in spectacular style, with temperatures on the 31st reaching 37.8 Celsius at Heathrow Airport. That made it the third hottest day on record in the UK. Now, cooler air has returned at the beginning of August, and it's showery in parts of the UK, although still dry in the south. But how are things looking as we head through the coming month? Well, the TWO monthly forecast was issued and it suggests a drier and warmer August, and if that turns out to be the case, I think many people who are planning staycations this year will welcome it. I will take you through some of the charts from the computer models which were used to produce the forecast to give you a little bit more insight into the thinking behind it. So first of all, here's the Gfs 0 to 5 day 2 meter temperature anomaly chart. All this is showing is whether the temperatures are expected to be below or above the 30-year average during the first 5 days of the month. And if I highlight the UK here with this circle, what you can see is blue shading covering much of the country, and that indicates a cooler than average period of weather during the first 5 days. So forecast confidence on that is quite high, and I would say that there's going to be quite a bit of rain around in the northern half of the UK. However, in the south and southeast, showers along the spells of rain are likely to be more scattered, and perhaps parts of the southeast could remain mainly dry. Now, if we jump ahead to days 5 to 10 of the month, you'll see a marked change in the shading across the UK. See, instead of blues, we've now got reds. And that indicates a transition to much warmer than average weather during days 5 to days 10. In fact, this is showing a temperature anomaly of, I think, 6 Celsius there in southeastern England. So it's suggesting that between days 5 and 10, taken as a whole, the temperatures in that part of the UK will be a massive 6 Celsius above average. There is quite a high degree of confidence in the general evolution towards a more settled and warmer period of weather during this time, although there are uncertainties just about how hot it will get and whether cooler air may return from the west as we go through this day 5 to day 10. This chart shows maximum forecast temperatures on Saturday the 8th of August. Again, it's produced using Gfs data and it's called a postage stamp chart. Those of you who read my Buzz blog posts will have seen these before, quite likely, I would have thought. What each stamp shows is the output from one run of the Gfs model, and you can see we've got a number of them in total for 20, and then there's the average of them all, the mean, which gives you 21, and then there's the control run, which gives you a total of 22 stamps here. Now, key thing to notice is look at the temperatures they are showing. Generally up in the upper 20s across southern and central parts of the UK on Saturday the 8th of August. Some of them are showing values as high as 32 Celsius. Another one down here which is 32 Celsius also, and really there's nothing at all cool appearing there, so there's a high degree of confidence that it is going to turn very warm next weekend, as I say, or even hot. One thing to bear in mind is that Gfs often undershoots temperatures by as much as 2 to 3 Celsius, so if you add 2 to 3 Celsius onto 32 or 33 Celsius, you do get into the mid-30s. 35, perhaps 36, not out of the question next weekend, so it really could turn very hot again. And I would say there's just an outside chance, it really is a low chance at this stage, but I wouldn't rule it out, we could challenge the all-time UK temperature record during this period. it's possible. But as I say, unlikely but possible. Keep an eye on the forecasts as we approach it. Now, if I jump forward to days 10 to 15 and again show you the temperature anomaly forecast from the GEFS, we can see we've lost that deep red shading across the UK, but it's still pinky red, and that indicates that during this period temperatures are still forecast to be above the 30-year average. In fact, this is suggested by 2 or 3 Celsius in southern England, parts of Wales too. But notice as you head further north into Scotland, the anomaly is much smaller there. In fact, temperatures would probably be close to the average during this period. So another way of looking at this data is the Gfs Line Graphs, and I've pulled up the London plot here, which again goes out to 16 days ahead. So it's taken us through the first half of the month quite nicely. I've annotated to make it clear. What you can see is that early on we've got a cool-ish upper level air mass over the UK. The thick black line there represents a 30-year average. And what you'll see is that most of the runs, each one which is represented by a coloured line, are falling below that 30-year average for a few days at least. That's, as I say, this is the upper air temperature, so at about 1,500 metres above sea level, gives us an indication of what we can expect down at the surface. But then notice how from around about the 4th, maybe the 5th of August, we see this big climb in temperatures. And by around the 7th to the 8th of August, which was a period I was just looking at with the postage stamp charts, we can see upper air temperatures are maybe between 15 Celsius and 20 Celsius. Most of the runs are probably going for around 17 or 18, maybe 19 Celsius. That's very warm. Very warm indeed for at the 850 HPA level. And providing there's plenty of sunshine, which seems likely, as I said, we can expect hot conditions down at the ground level during this part of a month. You'll see thereafter there's a general trend downwards, but nonetheless, out to the end of the forecast period here, 17th of August, most of the runs remain above the 30-year average. So it looks like staying warm, probably not as hot as it will be during the 8th to maybe during the 7th to the 11th of August, but still it looks like remaining warm as we head towards mid-month. It also looks pretty dry. On the lower half of the plot you can see the rainfall forecasts. Not many spikes shown there. We see it's pretty flat across from maybe the 4th of August right through to the 11th, 12th of August. Perhaps a few rain spikes appearing towards the end, so maybe some tentative indications of an increasing chance of rain as we head towards middle month. The other thing I'd point out on this London plot, which GFS doesn't really pick up very well normally, is the possibility of thundery conditions. So we could get heavy showers and thunderstorms popping up as the heat builds, and maybe we could see low pressure pushing up from continental Europe. And GFS, many of the computer models tend not to be very good at handling the development of showers or thunderstorms. So although it looks dry on here, as I say, don't rule out the possibility of some thundery conditions developing. Now, if I skip up to the northwest of the UK, the previous chart was London, this one is Glasgow. Again, it's the same data set, it's the same time period. We can see upper air temperatures do rise above the average around about the 4th, 5th of August, but it's a more mixed outlook, even though the mean, which is shown by this purple line, remains above the 30 average out until the end. There is a bigger spread developing, so I would say the temperature anomaly as you head further northwest is going to be lower. We could have much more average conditions across Scotland and perhaps Northern Ireland during this period. That has been the case quite frequently this summer. And on the bottom half of the plot, as I say, we can see the rainfall risk is much greater. It looks like around the 5th of August, 6th of August, that could be quite a wet period. and then rainfall spikes continue with varying frequency out until the 17th. So to summarise that, it's a more unsettled picture and a less warm or hot picture the further northwest that you head during the first half of August. Second half of August, we've got to skip ahead to look at the European ECMWF model, because GEFS doesn't take us out this far. So what we've got here is the temperature anomaly plot for the week beginning the 17th of August. I'll just highlight the UK again. There we go. And what you can see is this orange shading is pointing to above average temperatures through the week. So southern and eastern England, it's suggesting will be still warm as we head through this week. There is some blue shading off to the northwest of the UK that indicates below average temperatures, and therefore it suggests a very similar pattern to the one I've described during the first half of the month. Cooler conditions relative to the average in the north and west of the UK, warmer as you head further south and east. Rainfall anomaly chart for this week suggests close to average in northern and western parts of the country, but drier than average conditions in the south and east. So let's just finally jump to the last week of the month. And what we can see here again is the likelihood of warmer than average temperatures in the whole of the country. And the dark orange or brown shading here over southern and central England, even parts of western eastern Wales, indicates quite a significant anomaly, maybe 3 Celsius higher than the 30-year average. So pretty warm, and it looks like that warmth may well extend northwards again. Do remember that at this forecast range, confidence is very low indeed. Just take this as an indication of what currently appears to be the favoured solution. In terms of rainfall, well, good news for those of you taking a staycation, and for many of you who may be hoping to have barbecues or sit in the garden or whatever you want to do outside. It looks again like drier than average conditions are favoured in much of the UK, certainly in central and eastern areas. You can see in the northwest, some blue shading there is flagging up the potential for some wetter than average conditions as disturbances brush in there from the Atlantic. The risk of rainfall increases. So there we have it. There's the August forecast. I'm expecting a drier and warmer than average month in much of the country. The warmest and driest conditions relative to the average will be in the south and southeast. As you head further north, and particularly northwest, the risk of rain is greater. Temperatures are more likely to be close to the 30-year average for much of the period than they are in the south. Nonetheless, even up there are likely to be some warmer and drier periods. So, all in all, I would say a better than average August. Good news for those of you who are planning a staycation this month. Fingers crossed it all comes off. As ever, remember, as I said, forecast confidence when you're looking a month ahead in the UK is never high. But I hope this is going to work out well. Thanks for watching. Cheers now. Bye.